So we are live and welcome folks to Paranormal Hauntings. Sorry we were a tad late, just had a few mic issues, but we are now here. Just going to wait for a few of you to come on so we can tell you what we are doing tonight. I think a few's been looking forward to it. I have. Amy's felt extremely nervous, bless her.
I am. I'm so nervous. I didn't expect to be.
You'll be absolutely fine. We'll get you nice and relaxed soon.
Who we have is Paul Goddard. Do you want to just tell a bit of the audience about what it is exactly that we're doing tonight?
Yes, so it's past life regression using hypnosis. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm also a master practitioner in something called neuro-linguistic programming, and I help coach people from a stuck state to a state they want to be in. But with the hypnotherapy work that I do, a big majority of it now is conducting past life regressions. Some people like to have past life regressions for healing, and other ones like to have their past life regressions just purely for an interest's sake. This is that the subconscious mind, the theory behind it is stores information, and that you don't forget it. It can stay in there, and it also that the human brain has somewhere in there memories of a life that you've lived before this one. So that's what I help people to tap into through putting them into a nice, deep, relaxed state. And it's important for everyone to realize that hypnosis is, or self-hypnosis, all I'll be doing is helping to guide Aimee into that deep, relaxed state.
If anybody's interested after this session, Paul does do CDs, so we'll show them. I've also made predictions. I've got them on the paper. And I also know people in the audience has.
Oh, that's
so it should be interesting. So I'm going to leave now, guys, and I'm going to leave these two to it. I'm going to mute my mic so you're not be able to hear me, and then I'll come back on after. So good luck. And
Thank you.
See you shortly.
Wonderful. Right, Aimee. So as people are joining now, it takes a little bit of time for the induction to happen with the hypnosis. So do you have any questions whatsoever before we go into this and start?
No, not really.
Okay.
I know we've spoken beforehand,
Yes.
and I've told you my worries and things like that, and I
Yeah.
feel completely relaxed about that now.
Good.
Just a little bit nervous. Do nerves affect your ability to go under, do you think?
If you're nervous, it's fine. The thing which would affect if you're not allowing yourself to relax, which I'm sure you will allow yourself. So even if you're kind of feeling the slight butterflies, you can tell yourself now it's actually excitement, because it's exactly the same feeling, nervousness and excitement. But as long as you can let yourself, the people that have trouble going into hypnosis, because every single person can be hypnotized, is when you see them, and it has happened to me. They come in and they're like this, and you go, just relax your arms now, okay, and they're still holding them like this, and then you see them just allow your arms to relax, just do that now, and they're still like this. So if somebody is like that, then that happens. But I'm sure you're somebody who just will allow their hypnosis, I like to say, is different to meditation, where meditation you kind of usually hold yourself very upright, concentrate on the breathing. In hypnotherapy, hypnosis, it's a little bit more wet spaghetti, where you can just enjoy and allow yourself to completely slump out on the sofa.
That's where I am.
Yes, it looks nice and comfy. It looks like you've got a nice big pillow or cushion there. So
Yes,
yeah.
I've got several actually.
Amazing. Wonderful. So with that, because the induction takes a little time, are you happy to start?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so just allow yourself now to get as comfortable as you can. Close your eyes and get into that position where you just want to be whilst doing this session. Very good. And is there a door that you're most drawn to experience that past life?
Yeah, there's seven doors. There is one.
Very good. Just experience yourself now walking down to that door. And as you walk down to that door, you allow yourself to relax even deeper and deeper. That door that will take you back in time to a life you have lived before this one. Just let me know when you're just outside that door.
Okay, I'm there.
On the next count of 3, that door will open to your past life. You'll be pleased and delighted with what you can see, sense, and feel through that door. When you go through the door, you'll be looking at your own eyes, experiencing with your body from this past life. Ready for that door to open now. 1, 2, 3. That door opens to your past life now. And describe to me what you can sense and see as you look through that door.
I see red velvet again.
That's good. Just allow yourself now to go through that door to where that red velvet is. And the door closes behind you. And just describe a little more of what you're aware of, using your senses of see and also sensing as well what you're aware of.
I'm in a room, but it's cold.
Okay,
There's a fireplace to my right.
that's nice.
Seems quite grey.
Just now be aware of, as you look around the room, and as you can take in and maybe glance down at your legs and arms to see what you're dressed and what you're wearing. Describe that to me now.
It's a long dress to the floor, quite wide.
Excellent. And now the year will come into your mind of what year it is right now. Allow that to happen. Now, what year is it?
On 14, 13, 14, 14,
14.
14.
Wonderful. And now, what they call you, that comes from your subconscious mind into your conscious mind. What do they call you in this life?
Annie, Anne.
Annie, Anne. Very good.
Yeah, Annie or Anne.
And now, from your subconscious mind, allow your family name to come into your mind. What's your family name?
I think it's with a H. Haroldson. Haroldson.
Very good. And now, want you to be aware of what you're doing at this moment. What you're doing at this moment.
I'm looking out the window. It's a got diamond-shaped lead on the window. Looking out the window onto the town.
That's good. You said you're looking out of the window onto the tower. What else are you aware of as you look out this window?
Very grey day, very dull day. It's cold and it's wet.
And how old are you, Annie?
20, 21, and 21.
Very good. And now, Annie, how you spend your days. That awareness comes to you now. How do you spend your days at this age, 21?
I organize. I organize my home.
That's nice.
I have people I organized in my home.
And what sort of people? What do they do? What these people?
The maids, the servants and maids, female maids.
Wonderful. And this place you are in now, do you feel this is where you live, or do you just go here to work?
This is where I live.
It's very nice. Now, staying with this lifetime, staying with this age you are at, I want you to just go to where you're outside so you can look at this place where you live. That happens now, so you can look from the outside and describe it to me.
It's a large home. There's a lamp post on my right hand side as I'm looking at my home. For square windows. 4 upstairs windows.
And now, where you live in the world comes into your mind. Allow it to happen on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Where in the world do you live?
I am in England.
England.
Yeah.
Good. Let's just see if we can get a little more detail. Just relax and allow it to happen. Just to see if we're getting a town, a village, the area in England where you live. Allow that to happen now. Where is it, this place in England you live?
Steep something. Steep. Or Stapleford? Stapleford. Stapleford.
That's very nice. And this place you live now, what's it called? Allow the name of the place you live to come from your subconscious, from this life, into your mind now. Where's this place?
It's up. It's can't get it.
That's okay. It may come out later. And at this moment in time of you being 21, are you married?
Yes,
That's nice. And what's the name of your husband?
it's John.
John.
John
That's
Harrison. Harrison.
John Harold, John Harrelson.
Harrison.
Harrison.
Yeah.
That's really good. And now, staying with this lifetime, I want you to go to a time when you're with your husband so you can describe how he looks. Allow that to happen now, a time when you're with your husband. And let me know how he looks.
He's older than me. He's got a very harsh face.
How old is
Has
he?
he's about late, about 35.
35.
Yeah.
Well done. And you were just describing how he looks. So just allow more information to come to you now and just see more clearly of how he looks and how he's dressed, and just describe that to me.
He looks a lot older. He looks a lot older in his face than he actually is. Oh, he looks worn.
And what does he do?
He was born into money. He just didn't earn it. He was born into money.
This place where you live, do you feel you've always lived there, or do you feel you moved there?
I think I moved here.
That's good. On the count of 3, we'll go back in time, staying with this lifetime, Annie, to the place you lived before you came here. Allow that to happen now. The place you lived before you came to that place you live now, and tell me about it.
It's not as nice and not as big,
Okay.
but it's comfortable and warm.
Describe it to me, please.
On the outside, it's
Yes,
just a wooden door, but it's painted.
that's nice.
You have to twist to open the door.
And who lives in this place? Is anybody else living there at this moment?
Yeah. Yes.
And who lives there?
My father.
That's good. And tell me about your father. How does he look and what does he do?
He's got a kind face, really kind face. And he's a very kind man.
That's nice. Describe his kind face.
Heart's beating so fast.
That's okay. Do you know why your heart is beating fast at this moment?
No, I'm panicking about something. My heart is beating so fast.
Okay. If it gets too uncomfortable, just let me know. But for now, I like from your subconscious mind to come into your conscious mind of why you're feeling that sense of panic at the moment. Allow that to come to your mind now. So why are you feeling that?
I think something happens to him.
I'm sorry to hear that. Are you happy to move to the time when something happens to him?
No.
No, that's okay. What I want you to do now, is staying with this lifetime, Annie, is just to go back 1 year from where you are now. Back 1 year from where you are now. And let me know about that, what's happening.
My heart's still racing.
Okay. What we'll do now to help you with your heart is we'll go to your happiest memory, staying with this lifetime. Allow that to happen now, your happiest memory within this lifetime, Annie. And tell me about that.
I had a son, the birth of my son.
That's lovely. And tell me how your son looks at the birth. When you first looked at him, allow that to happen now. Just describe your son, how he looks.
He's a little bit wrinkly and red. He's beautiful. He's got big blue eyes.
That's nice.
Even open at birth.
And what do you call him? What are you going to call him?
Where's the father, John?
Very nice. And just I want to check in with you. How are you feeling now?
I still feel so panicky.
Okay. If I can ask your subconscious mind now with how you're feeling, are you happy to continue? What's your subconscious mind say?
Stop. My heart is just racing.
Okay. Now, I can ask you now, whilst you're staying in this deep, relaxed state, if you want me to bring you out of this or you're happy to continue, just let me know what you want to do.
Continue.
Okay. Just be aware that your heart will get better and allow yourself to just relax. Now, staying with this lifetime, Annie, I want you to go to your earliest memory. Allow that to happen now, your earliest memory within this lifetime. And tell me about your earliest memory in this lifetime.
I'm very young. I'm about 5, 6. Really young.
And what are you doing at this moment?
Just playing. playing in the field.
Ah, that's
Of
nice.
white flowers.
And is anybody with you at the moment, Annie?
I don't see anybody else. It's just me. But I can feel someone's nearby. But I'm not playing with anybody. I'm just playing with me. It's just me. Butterflies. I can see butterflies.
That's wonderful. Just describe the surrounding a little more. Is there anything else you're aware of?
Just sort of rolling hills, just countryside. Beautiful woods in the far distance. It's
Sounds idyllic.
mainly like farmland and just hills. It's just so pretty.
Sounds completely idyllic. Now, staying with this lifetime around the age of 6. I want you now to just go to your home at the age of 6, and that happens now. You're in your home.
Mm.
And tell me about your home.
It's a house on its own.
Okay.
No other homes. Okay.
And at this moment in time of you being at the age of 6, who else is in this house with you?
My father, my mother, and I've got an older brother.
Okay. Tell me about your mother. How does she look?
Very pretty, blonde, really extremely pretty. She's a hard worker though.
And what does she do?
She helps on the farm. It's a farm.
And just want to know, Annie, is that what your father does, what your dad does? Does he work on the farm as well?
Uh-huh.
And is
He
this, carry on.
he he runs it. It's his farm.
That's nice. And let's just see and just relax and see if the information comes to you. Just to see if there's a name of this farm. Allow that to happen now. Does this farm have a name?
Hobbs Farm. Hobbs. HOBBS. Hobbs Farm.
Hobbs Farm.
Mm-hmm.
And the area where Hobbs Farm is, just allow that now to come into your mind. What area is this Hobbs Farm in?
I get Castleford. Castleford comes into my mind straight away.
That's nice.
Castleford?
And this farm, is it crops or is it animals that your father looks after, or even both?
I think he does both.
It's
There's
very nice.
animals. There is animals on the farm. That's what my mother does. My mother. She organizes the milk, the milking, and everything like that. And my father organizes the crops, the corn.
And do you feel you have any other animals as well as cows on this farm?
Mm-hmm. There's pigs, chickens, geese.
And what are your favourite animals to look at?
Geese.
Lovely. And tell me about your older brother. How old's your older brother?
He's about 16.
And what's his name?
Charles.
Very good. And what does he do, Charles?
He's learning. He learns. He goes to school,
That's nice.
but he also helps my father and my mother on the farm.
Wonderful. Staying with this lifetime, Annie, let's move further forward in time.
Okay.
Further forward to being at the age of 10. Allow that to happen now. You're at the age of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about what's happening now at the age of 10.
I'm in the kitchen with my mother, and there's an argument somewhere. Shouting from outside.
Do you know what the shouting and the argument's about?
Don't know. It's three men.
Okay.
And they're shouting at my father and my brother.
If
I'm not allowed to hear.
okay. Just move further forward now, a couple of days from where you are now, and just see if you ever get to know what this argument was about. Allow that to happen now. Did you ever get to know what this argument's about?
Money.
Okay. And what was the outcome of this argument? Do you know?
My father went away for a few days.
Okay.
Then he came back and I never saw them men again. But I don't speak of it. We shouldn't speak of it.
Okay. Staying with this lifetime, let's move further forward again. Further forward to you being at the age of 15. Allow that to happen now. You're at the age of 15. And tell me about that.
I'm reading books. My mother wants me to learn. My father doesn't agree.
What
She
does your
wants me to learn.
What does your mum want you to learn? Anything in specific?
She encourages me to have opinions
Okay.
and to form my own opinion, but it's not allowed. But she encourages me to form my own opinion, but in secret, and read. I'm allowed to read.
And when you do read, do you like that?
Very much.
Staying with this lifetime and around this age now, I want you to go to a point when you're looking at yourself, and it can be either in some sort of reflection, could be in water, could be in anything, so you can see yourself. Just allow that to happen now so you can describe how you looked. So describe how you look right now.
I look like got blonde hair, very long, extremely long blonde hair, plaited.
Nice.
And it's down a little bit at the back. and it's in almost, it's not a bun, but it's circular at the back of my head, like that. Pretty. Mm.
Very good.
I've got a thin face, brown eyes.
Staying with this lifetime,
Mhm.
I want you to move further forward in time. Further forward in time now, so you'll go into that moment where you first meet your husband, the
Mhm.
husband to be. Let that unfold now so you can see that happening.
Mhm.
And what's happening?
I don't like it.
You don't like him.
No, my father brings him, and I don't like it.
Okay. And you said your father doesn't like him, but he was brought. How old are you now?
18.
That's good. And I
It's
just want to
quite late to get married.
okay. I just want to recheck in with you now, just to see
Mhm.
what year you feel it is now. What year do you feel it is now?
13.
Okay, that's good. Staying with this lifetime, we'll now move further forward in time, further forward to you being at the age of 25. Allow that to happen now at the age of 25 and tell me what you're doing now.
I'm in the kitchens myself, and I'm
Okay.
just organising, arranging some flowers on the table. It's a big, large wooden table, very large. Just arranging flowers.
That's nice. Do you enjoy doing this?
Yeah, I
Good.
do very much.
That's good. Now, staying with this lifetime, let's just move further forward now. Further forward to being at the age of 30. Allow it to happen now at the age of 30. Let me know what's happening now.
I don't see anything.
Okay. Staying with this lifetime, we'll go to your very last year in this lifetime, Annie. Your very last year of living. Allow it to happen now. It's your very last year.
Mhm.
And let me know where you are, what you see, and how old you are.
27.
27.
Mm.
And what are you doing now?
Just in my room.
Okay.
Just
And
in it's my own room, private room, my own bedroom.
being aware that this is going to be like a videotape that will be fast forward or rewound.
Uh.
Earlier on, you told me that you felt something was going to happen to your father.
Mm.
If anything happened or didn't happen, just let me know. Do you feel anything happened to him?
I think I get such a feeling of anxiety.
Would you rather we didn't dwell on that?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
That's okay. And you said you had a son. Do you feel you had any more children?
No, I've just had my son,
Okay.
just one.
Now, staying with this lifetime, we'll move further forward, knowing you'll just experience what emotions you're happy to experience at this time. We'll move further forward to your very last minute in this lifetime. Allow that to happen now. It's your very last minute. And
In bed.
okay, what are you doing there?
Very, very ill. Very poor.
Do you know what the matter with you is now?
My body hurts, and it's very cold. My back hurts, and I cough.
How long have you been?
Fluid.
How long have you been feeling unwell for?
Not long. Very short time.
Sorry to hear that.
Very, very, very quick.
On the next count of 3, it'll be your very last 10 seconds in this lifetime. And I'd like you to be aware that you'll just experience this and only take on the emotions you're happy to take on. Any negative emotions you wish to leave behind, you just leave behind. But just so we can know what you saw, Annie, in your last moments. Allow that to happen in your last 10 seconds. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. It's your last 10 seconds. And what you're aware of now, Annie, in your last 10 seconds.
Pain, but it's not as much pain.
I'm going to count backwards from 5 to 0. And 0 will be your moment of passing. We're going to count this quietly, so if you're seeing or experiencing anything in your last 5 seconds and 0 being passing over, just let me know what you're seeing or sensing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. It's your now just passed over. And what you're aware of now, Annie, you've just passed over.
I'm not aware of my body. I can't feel my body.
Okay.
I'm in my room,
Okay.
not inside my body.
And just allow that to play out now in real time, just moving forward a little bit more. And tell me what you're aware of now.
Colours.
Colours.
Very vibrant colours.
If you have a message now from your higher self, as you look back over this lifetime that you just experienced, is there a lesson? Or is there something that your higher self is telling you, a message that can be helpful in other lives? Allow that message to come to you now. And if you have a message, let me know what it is. What is the message your higher self is saying?
Quietly powerful. Quietly powerful. Never show just how powerful you really are, but always feel it, if that makes sense.
Your subconscious mind will make sense of that. And if it's appropriate, your subconscious mind will take that message with you. On the next count of 3, we'll be back in that corridor where this experience started from. 1, 2, 3, you're back in that corridor. And just allow, if they're open, for the door to close and doors to other past lives to close, but knowing you can experience them when you wish to again. Do you feel you wish to receive any healing from this past life experience?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'd like you to do now is your subconscious mind to create a healing room for you. And this healing room will have a space where you can either sit down or recline and receive healing from this past life experience. Allow yourself to go to that healing room now and describe this healing room.
It's white. There's a green plant in the corner. There's one window in the center of the wall, and sunlight coming in. Really warm sunlight.
And allow yourself now to just sit down or recline in this space, and you may wish to allow the sunlight to fall on you. And just let me know when you've done that.
Hey,
Now, what I'd like you to do is to be aware now of a spirit being in front of you. And this spirit being could be what you wish to represent to you, so it could be guides, guardian angels. And I'd like you to be aware that from this past life experience, you have your own pharmacy in your mind that can heal the illness that you passed away from when you had your lifetime of Annie. And this spirit guide is, however it unfolds to you, either handing you medicine or tablets to help heal yourself. And be aware of the colour and be aware of the taste, if there is taste. Be aware of this spirit guide giving you this healing medicine now. There would have been times of worry as well within this lifetime, and these times of worry can sometimes put ice around your heart as a metaphor. You said there was healing sunshine. I'd just like you to be aware of that sunshine. If it's not on you, just moving to you, landing on your heart area, your heart chakra, and giving you that love and that comfort from this past life. You can be aware of this spirit guide just rubbing your hair now. And as they rub their hair, they're soothing your mind from any trauma from this life. And this spiritual pharmacist now has some nice healing light that they shine on your body. And this healing light heals the back pain that you experienced in your final moments in this lifetime. And as this happens, and as it unfolds, anything that may have held you back emotionally or physically in other lives in this lifetime you're living now of 2021 gets healed. And if it hasn't already, this healing room can start slowing your heart rate down to a pleasant, relaxed rhythm that you experience in deep, deep relaxation. And that healing experience now can grow stronger within you as we move to another level, a deeper level. Allow the healing goodness to deepen again, and deepen one more time. I'd like you to know, if you wish me to do any further healing with you after this live's finished, I can do that. And even when I've brought you out of this deep, deep relaxed state, that healing work will continue within you. In a moment, I'm going to count up from 1 to 3. And on 3 and only 3, your eyes will be open. You will be refreshed. You will be alert. You remember everything about this session with crystal clear clarity. You'll be reinforcing every single positive thought you have ever had about yourself. All right now, getting ready to awaken on 3. So 1, becoming aware of your hand resting on your face. 2, now small movements in your body, signaling that it will soon be time to awaken on 3, eyes open, alert, refreshed, and ready for the rest of the evening. You
That's
did.
so weird.
You
Freaking
did
hell.
very well. And
I could feel the anxiety feeling, and it was just, I've never felt anything like it. It was just a pounding. Sorry, I'm just gonna get a tissue because I
that's
saw, do you know
right.
when you was on about seeing a spirit in front of you? I actually saw my uncle. Who I've actually never met before. And he was the one that was giving me healing.
That's nice.
So yeah. I just felt ever so panicky and shaky all the way through, and it was like, it was almost like I couldn't say anything. Do you know what I mean? Like I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't speak. That kind of thing.
Well, what I'll do is, after this live's finished, I will check in with you again to make sure you're fully okay.
Yeah.
Because I always do that. I don't want to go, right, that's it, you're on your own. So yeah, I always make sure everybody's completely fine. If you need me to do anything extra from that healing process, I will do as well.
All right, lovely, thank you.
Well done.
I feel all right now. I don't know.
Good.
Half of what I said, I remember being 6 quite vividly, the colours and everything like that. But when I was older, it seemed so cold and grey. And I don't know if that was psychological. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't in a happy marriage at all.
Didn't sound
Not
like
by a
it.
long shot. Yeah. It wasn't a happy marriage. So yeah.
What is really interesting, and I will get back to your life, but it just struck me, is that I'd say 99% of the time people do get a regression. You get that 1% of time when people don't, and I give them a disc, sorry, MP3 they can listen to it if that happens. Not these ones, but another home spin one. That they can listen to, and then I rebook them for another session at no cost. But it doesn't happen very often. But the occasional times it does, what they tend to go to is colours, and that's exactly what you got after you passed away. So it's almost like they're kind of that life between lives, but don't quite go through to the past life. So it was really interesting.
There's sound as well, but it was a sound that you can't describe.
Oh, okay.
There's just no way you could describe it. It's like music, but it's not.
Yeah.
but it's almost like on a
Frequency.
vibrational frequency. Yeah, it's just there's sound and color. It's so colorful. It's so vivid as well. It's really beautiful.
Good.
I can't believe that.
And thank you for
It
the
was.
nice comments for us.
You've had some
Thank
lovely
you.
comments. We've still got 126 on. I think they've really, really enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Obviously, if anyone's got any questions, please feel free. I've just got one question, Aimee. What year did you think it were? Because we was trying to establish.
It was 40. I was like 14, 12, 14, 13, 14, like that. And it was just, maybe 14 was the strongest, but I was second guessing myself maybe. And trying to, because I do that quite a lot naturally, personally anyway. So I'm like, it sounds like this. Do you know what I mean? So I found that carried on down wherever I was. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, Harrison. Sounds like this.
Do you feel like you was in Nottingham?
I was up here. I wasn't down south.
Because did you know Stapleford is in Nottingham?
I didn't even know there was a place called Stapleford.
I didn't think Stapleford is past me, past central Nottingham, and it's on the outskirts of Nottingham. But it is Nottingham, and Stapleford was quite a rich and farmland. It was farmland, yeah. I mean, my mum's just come in and said Stapleford was farmland.
No, it was like a farmhouse. It was large, but it was almost in like a half a square shape, like stables and pens and everything. But the fields that I knew that the span of the fields was quite wide.
Yeah, because you did mention Castleford as well. So it's just interesting. I don't know where the Castleford comes in. I don't know if you moved at some point or what.
I have no idea.
Quite interesting that you picked up somewhere in Nottingham.
Yeah,
That is very
didn't feel like I was down there. I felt more at home. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, I mean, my predictions were that you'd be some kind of royal. I think a lot of people said that.
I think I might have gone there yesterday, to be honest, Charlene, because I went to the bottom door yesterday when I did Paul's sort of like what he tells you to do previous. I did that yesterday, and I was someone because I went to France in 1512, but I wasn't French. I was English. I knew that. And I came back over home to get married, basically. But I think that's where the red velvet comes. I just keep getting kept getting flashes, even in this one, red velvet all the time. It's just the red, the the material red velvet, and it's just right before my eyes, like you can almost touch it. It's just an image, not of like a red velvet dress or anything like that, but it's just like just an image. It's weird. So I think I got that yesterday.
Because I gave Aimee. Sorry, I interrupted. There's always a delay on this, so you end up interrupting each other, don't you? When you're doing live. I was going to say, if people are wondering what I always, when I do these lives, I like to give an MP3 out beforehand just to make sure that the person is able to get regression. If they're not, then we know to do some more work. As I say, 99% chance people will, but because everybody watching, it's just nice to know 100% that people can go to a regression. So. Yeah, so that's the one that you got is the homespun, which I'm still quite pleased with, but the homespun kind of past life regression MP3. I've also got, which we'll talk about later, the CDs.
I want to say thank you to you as well, Paul, for answering my questions, because I was a little bit panicky about not being able to go under. Because when I meditate, I stop breathing and I sort of wake up out of it. So I was a bit worried about that, and I just want to say thank you for putting my mind at ease. It really worked. Yeah. Really
That's one of
good.
the things that I always like to do with anybody that phones up, because hypnosis, most people find it, particularly if you're just doing a purely relaxation hypnosis and just taking the positive suggestions in. So many people are nervous about receiving hypnosis, but people actually really like it. Just most people, I don't know if it was like you, because everybody can experience hypnosis and trance in different ways, but most people kind of say it's just like when you're like got a lazy Sunday and you don't need to get up and you're just really kind of sleepy. You're not quite asleep, you're not quite awake, and you're just sort of enjoying lying there. That kind of what people say is the state they feel like they get into in hypnosis. So I don't know whether you would agree with that, Aimee.
Well, I fell asleep during. I think I got a little bit too relaxed the second time I tried it, because I did fall asleep. But it is like I was aware of what my body. I was aware of the breeze from the door, but it's like you're there, but you're not. It's almost like an out-of-body experience. Your body's there, you can feel it, but it doesn't matter. I'm so bad at explaining things.
No.
It probably came across. But yeah, that's how it kind of felt to me. It was like I was aware of everything, my earphones. The only thing I wasn't aware of is that when I woke up was my hand was dead, and I wasn't aware of that. When your hand goes dead, and I was just aware of it when I woke up. So yeah.
I've had, as Claire said, have I got a sleep CD? I don't have one yet, but I've had so many people saying about having a sleep CD that I'm going to make that next. I just have to make sure I schedule in the time to do it, because I've been quite busy recently with bookings and things. So make sure I put some time aside so I can get one done, because that's really quite popular. But if people are interested, I've got several YouTube channels. The Past Life Regressions with Paul Goddard is where I'm trying to get people to go across to. So if you do a subscribe and a notification bell, I'll be ever so grateful. But I've also got Paul Goddard NLP Paul Goddard NLP and hypnotherapy, and on that one I've done a hypno holiday for free for people, and I did that at the start of the very first lockdown because I knew people were getting stir crazy being in their own home. So I created this free hypnotic holiday, so people can listen to it and go where their subconscious mind wants to take them. So people can just, from the comfort of their own home, go to Switzerland, Cornwall, Italy, wherever they want to go. So if people want to listen to something to help relax them, then that's a good place to start.
I just want to pick up for Nanny Lynn. Of course, it's all right, Nanny Lynn. She's she's been there all the way through. After she follows you religiously as well, don't she, Paul? And she recommended yourself. So thank you very much to Nanny Lynn, and she's been posting the links to your site, and I will post one up on the page.
She's a very dear friend and a great support. So thank you so much, my dear friend.
She's lovely. She's lovely. There was just a question. Is it like being between consciousness and subconsciousness?
Kind of. No. It kind of is. I mean, I've never gone into my subconscious before. That's the first time. So that's I don't know what that feels like apart from that. But it's like you're dreaming, but you're not. You're completely aware of your physical surroundings, and that you always have a sense that you're in control. But there was one point where I felt like I wasn't in control, and that was when I started to panic a little bit.
It looked like you was going to cry, to be honest, Aimee.
Yeah, I was quite. It was almost there from the start. Like there was something that happened. Do you know what I mean? Like it was. there from the start. I don't think that was a very nice life, but I feel really rested now about
Oh,
it. Yeah,
another question for
it's like
Paul.
having it. It's like having issues that you're not aware of, isn't it? Really.
Mm.
I was making sure throughout, because when you're looking uncomfortable, I was making sure, see if you did. If you said, I want to come out of this now, I would have taken you out of it. And not just thought, well, we need to get an hour of this. I'm just going to keep her going through it anyway, because the person's well-being is always the most important thing.
No, you were brilliant. You're absolutely
thank
brilliant. Your voice was like the comfort, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't feel so alone in that life because you were there.
Oh, thank you.
Strangely enough, it sounds so strange when I say it. I'm like,
It's a compliment,
wow.
and I'll take compliments. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I've got also killed by a person, so I didn't get that right. I got chambermaid question mark. So I didn't really get anything right that I thought I did actually. But we was all seeing similar things in the chat, so that's quite interesting that we
A
thought we
different one.
chose. So just got another question if you're all right for time, Paul.
Yeah, I'm completely fine for time. Yeah.
Do you think you see colours when you're born?
Possibly. People tend to. I mean, when people cross over, it can be colours. Quite often, people, like at the start of what Amy's experience, started kind of being dissociated, so they were like having an out of body experience. Very rarely, people say that they see a light, which is what everybody says, when they have like a near death experience. But hardly anybody ever says they see like a bright white light, which I find really interesting, because that's kind of what we all are told. Did you see a bright light or not? No.
Just colours.
Yeah.
It was like looking at a crystal through a sunlight, if you know what I mean, but more vivid than that.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful, really, really, really pretty and comforting, like just so warm.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing a CD for remote viewing, Paul?
I have now. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. I find all that sort of thing really fascinating. So maybe I can do an experimental workshop as well at some point and see if we can do remote viewing. Those that are interested, message me, please.
To be honest, we've done remote viewing experiments and it's been very interesting. We had the door open on one. How was that?
Somebody
wow.
stayed.
Yeah. Wow.
We've got one from Ellen. Paul, do you find clients who have the time from that have been linked from the past life?
Yes. I mean, I've had people that have drowned and have fear of water. Yeah, quite often, and I've had one the other day. I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head, but I remember helping. They had some sort of fear about something. As soon as I finished this live, I don't know what it is. It was literally just the other day that I did it. But I don't only talk about cases that people are happy for me to chat about as well. Water tends to be quite a big one. But people can have all sorts of fear, like if they were in a previous life where they were, say, beaten by a husband, when they say anything, that can have an effect in their life today of not sort of speaking their mind and their truth and things because of what has happened in the past. So yeah, all sorts of things can be healed to the past life, and it can be quite I guess liberating, for the word would be for the client, because they kind of feel this release. They see it happening through another life, and it just seems to, even if you don't have the healing room, which is something I've done more in recent years. When I first started, I didn't really do that, and even when just people experience living through something, it can release the fears.
Did you feel frightened at any point, Aimee? And I'm going to ask, did you feel frightened at point of death?
No. When it was counting down to the moment of death, no, not at all. Even though you know it's coming.
Yeah.
you know, and I sort of looked forward to it, as
Yeah.
morbid as that might seem, but
No.
no, not frightened at all. But the only time that I was frightened was when when I looked at my father, and then again when I sort of was looking at my husband, that my heart started beating. Then it was, yeah, I was frightened at that point, but not at the point of death.
I am gonna have a go. I've shoved Aimee first. Because Aimee talks of certain things, and I think I've always felt that Aimee. I've always said to you and Aimee, I felt that you've needed healing from a past life.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to you, Paul, I'm making Aimee go first for a reason, because I feel like she needs healing. There's something gone off
Yeah.
with the past life that I think she's brought forward. So that's why I've made Aimee go first. So
Yeah. If you do feel you
um,
need any more, Aimee, I will certainly do some, because when I've got clients, you know, I can sort of take quite a long time with them, but sometimes I even just sit in silence as it's happening. But I also realise that, you know, that might not be quite so interesting for people watching if we're sitting in 10 minutes time. But if you know, if you do feel you need it, I will certainly do that with you after
Oh, that's
or another
lovely.
time.
Thank you.
can everyone be hypnotized?
Yes, you certainly can, and everyone goes into that hypnotic state throughout the day anyway. Alpha, we should be, sorry, beta, we should be in normal waking consciousness, and it goes down to alpha to theta to delta. And most people are driving in an alpha state, which is kind of like a light hypnosis meditation state, because some people just go on autopilot. So, you know, they're just kind of, you know, you might have been driving somewhere. Sorry, this is for people who drive and, you know, might not know, don't drive, but, you know, you're supposed to be going somewhere and you think, oh, blimey, I'm driving to work now, and I should be driving off to this place, and it's Saturday. You just go into that hypnotic state. So your subconscious mind completely takes over. Another time people go into hypnosis is when they're watching films. You know, people are so engrossed in it and they jump, they get fearful for the person, even though they know they're watching a film either on the TV or on the cinema. But your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So that's why you get so drawn into it and cry and get excited for the hero, etc. So a long answer, yes, everybody can be hypnotized.
Aimee, would you like to visit the other 6 doors?
I think, well, I visited 2 as I was doing the run up, because I've done it a few times this week just to make sure. So I visited 2. I'd do them again, yeah. I'd do them again, and I'd feel a lot more. Now I've done it once, you know, I feel a lot more secure, and I'd be a lot less nervous, I think, next time.
That's a really interesting question. Have people gone to a ghost in between lives, Paul?
Not yet.
That's
But there's a first time
really
for
good.
everything.
Really interesting.
Yeah, it
That'll
is
be
actually.
Charlene, that one. Charlene will be that one.
Have you ever had an out of body experience while sleeping? Does it feel like this?
I've never had an out of body
Not so you
No,
can't
I
confirm,
haven't.
can you?
No.
I had a few of them, but stop. I'm just going through. Everyone was worried about you, but obviously we knew Paul would look after you. Emma was quite well to do, right? You had servants. Did you have servants?
Yeah, I organized like a household. That's what I got. But I like to do things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always sort of like slammed down for doing things myself. I wasn't allowed to read. That's why I was reading sort of in secret, if you like. The only thing that I was allowed to I wasn't even allowed to read the Bible, I don't think.
Hmm. Do you believe that deja vu comes from a past life?
Steve, if you're still watching, from the Paradox Club, he had deja vu memories, and when he was in Llandudno with his mum and dad on like family holidays, he could actually say to them, if we go down that street, you'll come across such and such. And he had a very vivid past life regression when the video is available on the Paradox Club, and also my past life regression with Paul Gold NLP now. So for that instance, yes, I can definitely say that probably, you know, at least some of the time it could be connected.
If someone is suffering from recurrent lifelong depression in their present life, would they have suffered from the same in the previous life? They could have like carried it over maybe, or
They could have done. When somebody has like severe depression, I mean, I always get people to sign up. I mean, you know, that has to be clinical depression. I just ask them to speak to their GPs beforehand, just to make sure that you're happy to go ahead with the session. But it could be something that happened, and that's why, you know, people can't piece together why they're getting depressed. I know that, and it's been quite a recurring theme with lots of people. Say like a mother might be overprotective to the child. Quite often something happened in a previous life to a child they had, or sometimes they're the child, and like they've drowned, or if it's later on, like the 1930s, 1940s, been hit with a car or something like that, and the child's been lost, and then in the next life, or life in the future, the mum can be quite overprotective because they have that subconscious fear that something might happen to them.
how many past lives can you have? Is it limited or?
Well, I know that different religions have different views. Some just say you basically keep reincarnating and that's it. Other ones say that you have a certain set number and then you stop reincarnating. Other ones say you stop reincarnating when you've learned all your lessons. So I don't really know what the answer is to that. And when I've asked people in hypnosis, they don't seem to really kind of know themselves, to just get reincarnated. So it's just something that I'm exploring, and I don't have the answer for that one, but I think it could be that we just keep on until we've learned lessons, or it seems to be, I think, from a lot of people that if I remember when they answer that question, that they just kind of feel themselves that it's time to go back, and they basically send themselves back. And sometimes I do like 2 shorter ones, but I wanted to really delve in. Like, you know, a shorter one, some lives can be so short. I went to one life and I went to, so go to your earliest memory straight away. The earliest memory was running out of the house straight into the lake where they drowned, and that was like a really, really quick life. So I had to then do something else. But when I have done 2 lives in one session, and some children have said it now, it's not all the time, but quite often people sort of see, whether it's the subconscious mind coming up with a metaphor, what happened, or whether this does happen, but they kind of see like themselves jumping to like a funnel, like a hole, and then kind of going into the next life, and then they're born. That's happened quite a few times when I've done clients.
Fascinating. Could a woman have been a man in a past life? That's quite.
Yes. Yeah, it happens all the time. Usually that's saying, can I ask if the name's obscure, but with Aimee, the way you addressed it was very sort of obvious that you were a female in that life. But yeah, it happens all the time. You get male and female in different lives.
Here we go. One from Joe. Have you done it? And where did you go?
I certainly have. So 3 times I've had it done. I haven't done it for a very long time. The very first time I had one done, I went back to the Lake District, and I really kind of struggle what the memory, what the year was. But a Lake District, and I was like a carpenter. The first one I remember, the first like one I remember doing more vividly, was when I was learning with my other teacher, Maria Wheatley, because I got 2 hypnotherapy teachers, Raymond Roberts and Maria Wheatley. And I went back to being a hunter-gatherer. I didn't know exactly where it was, but it felt like Norway. And I didn't get a year because it felt like it was so old, you wouldn't know what year was or anything like that at that time, but it felt like it was really quite old. And my more recent one was in the 1960s. And I didn't live too long in that one, and that was in Russia during the Cold War, and I was like a radio operator, and I had to give commands on the radio, and it was very stressful. And they brought me out because I was being tested. But when I hypnotized myself, because you couldn't hypnotize yourself, it was that I basically died of stress from that time, because you had to get it right, and it felt like I didn't know what was going to happen, but it kind of felt like if I got anything wrong, one word wrong or anything like that, then it was serious. I'd be in serious trouble. I didn't know if it would be I'd be put away in prison or I'd be shot, but it just I kind of still remember some of the anxiety of feeling about it. Just knew that it would be bad if I got this wrong. So that was not such a pleasant life, that one.
No. Yes, your message to yourself was very interesting, Aimee. Very long. Very.
Yeah, it was about your own strength, but don't always let it show, which is kind of my philosophy of life. Is I've always said I never let on. Even Charlene will back me up here. I've always said never show how intelligent you really are, because people will always underestimate you. And that's kind of the same sort of concept. But yeah, like you know your own strength, you know your own power, but just don't always give it away.
So can you pick which life? I suppose that's your doors, isn't it? Suppose you don't know what's going to open.
Yeah, and you don't have to have it be in the door. I find that's my one of choice. But when I did Steve, just because people are seeing a lot of these, I thought I'd do something different where I got his subconscious mind to choose the past life which was best for him. And I took him to the beach, and when I took him to the beach, I then got him to float up, and I told him when he dropped down, he would drop down into the past life. So there's different ways you can do it. The corridor you see is what your subconscious mind comes up with, and it's how your subconscious mind kind of pictures it. So it's not like this is exactly this corridor is out there. It's like your subconscious mind uses that as a doorway to get through. But you can use other methods as well. You can use like a mist of time that surrounds you and then disappear. But I wouldn't be surprised if your subconscious mind chooses the amount of doors that you've had for different past lives, particularly with yourself, Aimee, that it's been the same every single time when you've gone in, and the same amount of doors. So I think that could be
7 doors.
Yeah, what your subconscious mind is letting you know.
It's another one. The things that we may be emotional, that we get emotional about in this life, could that relate to the past life that we may have once lived? So say we're watching the program on the wall or the articles, could that mean that we could have lived through that at some point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes I get people that have a real fascination with a certain period in life, and they're reading books about it, and they go back to that life. And other times that I really think that I must have been in Roman times. I really feel that I've got such a, and then they go to their past life, and it's something completely random that they wouldn't expect themselves to go to at all. So
this is the deal with Aimee, because I would have really have put my cards on that she would have come out as some kind of royalist or queen or some kind of connection to a queen.
yeah,
And I've been totally
maybe another door.
Yeah.
I think somebody said about choosing lives as well. So if you wanted Aimee to re-explore more of this and maybe go to some different ages or things like that, you can just say, you go back to that life and you see that door, so you can choose that one again. Or if they drop out the sky, you can just remind them just a couple of things about that life, and you'll jump back into that one. So you can go back and re-explore, because somebody who has passed away now but was a retired bingo caller from Birmingham, Peter Hume, he was regressed to being a pikeman in Cromwell's army, gave him the name John Raphael, and him and his brother kept exploring it, and in the end travelled up to Scotland and up and down the country, getting information about John Raphael, and it did seem like this John Raphael did live. They found him in parish records. The person he married was right. So you can do that, and also as well they travelled, wrote letters off to historians, because this wasn't the day when you could just get on Google and find a lot of things out. You know, you had to go to historians and record libraries to pick anything up. So yeah, that's on. It used to be on YouTube. Somebody uploaded it from that wonderful program, Strange But True, that I remember with great.
Oh, I
fun.
love that one.
Yeah.
So if you're bad in this life, does it mean you're evil in your past life?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, you know, I think that a lot of people get answers. I've had people that have been bad in a past life, and they're wonderful people now, and it doesn't mean you get sort of punished or anything like that. At least it doesn't seem to be that happens. I mean, some people say that we do all sorts of things in our past lives and learn lessons. I tend to keep an open mind about it, you know. But you know, I've met the most spiritual, kind person, and I think as well, if you were bad in a past life, I think sometimes your subconscious mind thinks, "Oh, I won't go there whilst I'm being hypnotized and talking about." But if you're that good and that spiritually aware and that a kind person, sometimes I don't think you mind going to that dark side, because we all got that dark side within us that we don't want to really kind of face. And I think when you've really got yourself sorted, if you have been bad in the past life, it's easier to go to that because you haven't got that now.
Can you remember objects? I'll just do a few more because there is a few interesting ones. Can you remember objects going back?
Is that for myself or Aimee? I mean, like...
either. Aimee, can you remember any objects?
Red velvet material is very prominent.
Anything
Toys.
else?
Sorry, go on, Aimee.
You're aware of everything. It's almost like if you went outside and you looked around, you can see everything, but you don't take it all in. But you can still see everything. Do you know what I mean? Everything's there. It's like a dream, but it's not a dream.
I know people remember toys quite vividly sometimes, what they're playing with, like their train set, the jacks that they play with, you know, and you know that they can be quite sort of vivid because they gave them hours of happiness. I see Joe's written one there. Can you be regressed to an animal or insect? I've never had an insect. I've had a couple of animals.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I've had a couple of animals. I've had a whale and I've had an ape.
A whale?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, I take my hat off to you, Paul, because I wouldn't know what questions to ask. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't know.
If you see on my YouTube channel, I have got a really early one on, and the questions I ask really aren't as good, but it's just one of those things. As you do it more, you get more used to what to ask somebody, and just try and get that information out as much as possible.
Can you go through the same door twice?
If you want to, you might get to the same life again. Or, you know, it might be that, you know, it's because it's just your subconscious mind. You may end up going to another life. It's again, it's not like this this corridor really exists. It is what your subconscious mind comes up for the doorway to get to your past life. It just ends up being a little bit more smooth and people go to it easier than go, when I next count for you, jump into a past life. It just has that stage of so people can get to it.
Yeah. If you've had a bad life in this life, do you think people's next life could be better? Do you think it goes like that? I'm just
It might
asking.
be. It might, my optimistic side says I'd like. It would be nice if it was. But then again, you get people go, oh, it's a bad life. Maybe it might be better in the next one. And a lot of work that I do is to really make this life good. And the most appalling things might have happened to somebody. And, you know, my dad, who had cancer, was pretty unwell, but he was in a lot of pain. He was on high pain relief, which did help it. But, you know, he was completely happy. People would come and see him in the hospital because they found him so cheerful and unload their problems to him. So, you know, I think I would like to think I could be, you know, as brave as he could be. But you know, I that's what I try and do with people is whatever situations people in. And I fully understand that sometimes it can be really bad, but to make the best of it, because there was a saying like I like to say at the end of many of my talks: the past is history, the future is mystery, and the present is a gift. And you know, I've done things. You know, I've made horrible mistakes. People have done horrible things to me. People have done amazing things to me. And we all can find ourselves in that sort of depressed state at some point, not depression, but depressed state of your life circumstances. But what I've started doing every morning is kind of thinking that you just kind of don't follow your goals. You kind of become a victim rather than the survivor of the situation. And I like to think back that it was the end of my life, and I always choose I've lived a good one, 80s, 90s, maybe even 100, but that I've been given a second chance to go back to today, and what difference would I make? So I always think, if only I had, you know, at the end of life, and then think in the morning, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do my NLP exercises, walk my talk, I'm going to you know, put myself out there for people to see me and go for my dreams and live my dreams. Have I even answered the question, or have I gone off topic there? But you know,
No.
that's what I like to do. I always like to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree
Has
with
someone
that.
you loved in a past life be with you in this life?
Yeah, sometimes it happens. That sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you get like the father being the daughter the next time round in their life. You do hear of families being reborn back into the same family. It doesn't always happen, but it certainly does happen. You get friends that say, "Oh, I reckon that I've got a real connection with somebody," and I've always had somebody come and they find there's been a connection, but I want to get both people in at separate times. But quite often with two friends, you've got one that really is wanting to do it, and the other person, no, I don't think I will. So I haven't had that two people investigating it yet. But if I did that, I would take them separately so they're not influencing each other. And that's when I always do these regressions. I always make sure that I kind of, even if it seems obvious that it's going some way, I won't assume it is, because I don't want to influence somebody. So I'll just move forward or go to your last moments. Because I've had people before where they've like been on the battlefield and they've been really badly injured and it looks like they're going to die. And I don't then say at that point, so how did you die from this? Because sometimes I've had it where people have been taken, treated and recovered and then gone on to live years afterwards. And I have found as well, even when occasionally I do make the very occasional mistake and I say something, the people will actually go, no, it's this. So even though I try not to influence, what they're coming up with is so strong from their subconscious that they correct me if I do say something which could be influential.
I'll tell you a bit about an experience I had. A few years ago, I went into a pharmacy and there was a man in there. And he turned around and looked at me, and I looked at him. And there was an overwhelming sense of we knew each other and we knew each other well. And but we didn't. And we just locked eyes for ages, you know, and he was quite a lot older than me. I was only in my 20s then. So I'm thinking, there's not really anywhere I should know this individual from. And he actually ended up turning around to me and he said, do I know you from somewhere? And I said, do you know what? I was going to ask the exact same question before you left because I feel like I need to hook you. It was the strangest thing. And he went, I think we've met in a past life. And I said, I don't think you're wrong. So can you come across people from your past life in this life and feel that? Is that something you've heard a lot of?
Yes, and it would be interesting. Maybe that's something we could explore when you do your past life. I know that Peter Hume that I mentioned earlier, he was on a lot of television programs. A lot of facts came out, and he was on. Do you remember that program on ITV in the morning? It's called The Time and the Place. I've forgotten the name of the presenter, but he was on that. And after it had finished, one of the people who worked on it said, "I've got your daughter on the phone." And then there was a slight pause. He said, "Your daughter from the Civil War." So this daughter was watching it and had a strong connection. And they met up, and he was just sort of asking questions. Do you remember what I gave you for your birthday? And she would say, "Yes, you gave me a little wooden horse that you carved." So yes, you can meet up from previous lives. So yeah, we could explore that should you wish to do so.
Yeah, I would like to. Just a few more, and then we'll let you get going. Sorry. We'll do 4 more minutes. Yeah, because people are saying, how do you explain ghosts then? Because if we go from one life to another, where do ghosts come within that? Would there be a time lapse? Or, I mean, we obviously don't know, but in the terms of...
Well, there's so many different things it could be. One, that part of the soul remains, part of the soul goes on. The other thing can be is that some people decide to reincarnate and other souls get trapped behind. The other thing is that Dr. Ian Stevenson and Dr. Jim Tucker, who went around the world interviewing children with spontaneous past life claims, they found the average time between lives was 18 months. But the average time, like the average wage for a British person, is going to be from that to like somebody's on a massive wage. So, it can be like you can jump out one body straight into another, or sometimes it can be years before people go back in. So there's no real time at all. So it could be that the soul splits. It could be that if you believe in the stone tape theory or water theory, as some people have, or it could be some people get stuck, some people don't. So I tend to find in this work that you end up having more answers, that you have more questions than answers when you do this work. But it's always fascinating.
So, Aimee, is there anything you want to say before we go? Anything you want to reflect on?
No, just thank you. I feel so relaxed now. I was really nervous before, and obviously it's after the fact, so you're going to be more relaxed. But
Yeah.
I just feel at ease, if that explains it any better. I just want to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Very
Yeah.
welcome.
And everyone's enjoyed it. I mean, we've still got 60 odd on, and they just keep firing questions, Bessa, and they've really, really enjoyed it. I think we could keep you all night. So I will have a go, and then you can fire some more questions at Paul maybe that night.
If they ask me questions on my YouTube or my Facebook, I always do my best to answer them.
Lovely. So just refresh again, whereabouts can people find you, Paul?
So I'm more active on YouTube, and I do put some stuff on Facebook as well. I need to put more stuff on Facebook. But if they're interested in past life regressions, then Past Life Regressions with Paul Goddard. If you're interested in personal development, and on YouTube, it's Paul Goddard NLP and Hypnotherapy. I've got my 2 channels on YouTube as well. So Paul Goddard NLP Hypnotherapy and Paul Goddard Past Life Regressions. If people are interested in a load of random VHS tapes and bits of holiday footage and trains and things, I've got my other just Paul Goddard channel. It's just It doesn't say just Paul Goddard, it's Paul Goddard. But yeah, if you go to Past Life Regressions with Paul Goddard, you'll get hold of me there, and I do answer people's questions as best as I can.
Lovely.
Okay, I know people don't want us to go, but I think we're going to end it there. So thank you so much, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome. I
Aimee,
enjoyed it.
you was amazing. And we will see you in the week, guys. Thank you for everyone that has liked and that has shared and that has spent the evening with us. You've all been great company. Brilliant and interactive. So good night, everyone. Take care.
Good
Sleep
night.
well. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.